UFC 291. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. Looking forward to talking about this card one final time before we see it live. Epic main event, BMF belt on the line. It's Poirier versus Gaethje 2. Co-main event, Alex Pereira, Jan Błachowicz, #1 contender fight in the light heavyweight division. And also Derrick Lewis showed up to the weigh-ins with a 4-pack. I'm really looking forward to looking at these fighters on the scales, checking them out, looking at the face-offs. We'll talk about each of the matchups, so make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure to share the video as well. And also note I'm live for the entire card, Fight Companion, going down tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, from the first fight of the night to the main event. You don't want to miss it. Keep it locked in on the channel, and let's get into the first fight of the night. It's Miranda, Fear the Maverick, versus Priscilla Cachoeira, the zombie girl. You know, this fight gets me kind of excited. I feel like we have a good ladies fight to start the card off here. I've been picking Miranda Maverick all week. Nothing's going to change. Now, I know there are concerns. She lost last fight to Jasmine Jasudavicius, but way different style does Priscilla Cachoeira bring, on the contrary to a Jasudavicius, who's, you know, a beast of a wrestler. Maverick has a grappling edge in this fight. In the wrestling, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's a clear-cut edge. Where she is at a pure disadvantage is going to be boxing. Her kickboxing, being Miranda Maverick's, matches Cachoeira's game okay. It's just the fact that Cachoeira has a lot more punching power. If Maverick maybe is overconfident on the feet, she could get caught with a big punch. Now, I believe she knows that the game of Priscilla Cachoeira is going to be more one-punch power and get knockouts. So I expect Maverick to embrace the grind here, mix in striking too, but find takedowns, find control, and win a decision. Now, I will bring up the scales and we will see how these ladies look. Let me shrink myself down so we see the fighters, you know, all prim and proper. You can kind of see Miranda Maverick there, but there is Priscilla Cachoeira looking pretty scary. And then there is Miranda Maverick. These here are the official weigh-in photos. Maverick looking like her arms are pretty thick, man. She's thick, man. She's got some thickness to her. There's the face-off. Listen, Cachoeira is going to look meaner. She's a more menacing foe. I mean, it's just, you know, looks-wise, yeah, Cachoeira seems like that would be the girl. You saw them getting in a street fight, yo, I'd go with zombie girl to beat her ass. But in the cage, in MMA, I think that Miranda Maverick is the more well-rounded fighter, and I believe she's capable of beating Priscilla Cachoeira here, so I will be riding with Miranda Maverick, just to show you a little couple more photos. I feel like I'm, you know, at the weigh-ins right now watching these two face off. How many photos MMA Junkies dropping. Give me Maverick for the win by a decision. Now, it is not super exciting to have a Maverick by decision official prediction because the lines of the fight are very wide, favoring Miranda Maverick. -266 for Maverick, Cachoeira +226. If I look towards the prop betting side of things, Maverick by sub +170. with a Maverick by decision +180. So I expect her to beat Cachoeira on the judges' scorecards. I think that she's going to have to, you know, deal with some dangerous striking at times, but she'll win the fight. So Maverick for the win. Money line is wide. She should do it, though. The over 2.5 rounds, -105. It's close money. Really close money for that over 2.5. It's at a slight underdog status at BetOnline. I feel like Maverick's winning on the cards. I think it's going to go over 2.5. Could she lock up a sub? Maybe. I mean, Cachoeira was subbed by Jillian Robertson, but I'll say this. Jillian Robertson's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skill set on the mat, I think, is more effective with actually finishing fights by submission than Miranda Maverick. I mean, she subbed Sabina Mazo with the rear naked, but I do think Cachoeira is definitely more dangerous than her. Decision over Shayna Young. It's sub or decision. Miranda Maverick for the win. I don't really like the over all that much either. So Maverick to get it done. I am picking her in this fight. I think she'll beat her. She'll beat Priscilla Cachoeira. Not an easy fight, but a winnable fight for Miranda Maverick. And that is the first fight of the night. Let's keep moving on up the card. Next fight on it, we got Matthew Semelsberger versus Uros Medic. I am picking Matthew Semelsberger to win, but I do think Uros Medic is a good kickboxer. He's got nasty kicks. It's just he's going up a weight class. He took this fight on short notice. It's not like he's filled out into a larger frame to move up to 170. It's a short notice fight. Now, Medic has fought at middleweight in the past. Like, starting his pro career was a middleweight, and then he cut down to 170 for every fight thereafter. And he's now a 55er in the UFC, which I like a lot for him. I think he's a good 55er. Matthew Semelsberger is dog tough, great chin on him, hits hard, and I think when he has the physicality advantage, he's good at imposing his will. He's going to put a lot of pressure on Medic, and I do think he breaks him here. I'm going Matthew Semelsberger by TKO in the second or third round. Let's check them out on the scales here, and let me shrink myself down. And let's look at these fighters on the scales. There is Uros Medic, who in all fairness, at 170, visible abs, looks in good shape. And then Semelsberger, looking pretty solid. He shaved the beard to just have the stash. He looks pretty goofy. But listen, a dangerous, goofy man for sure with Semelsberger. There is Uros Medic. We don't really need to see the ceremonials. I mean, we already saw him on the scales. Yeah, they rehydrated up a bit. The size difference is actually not substantial for Semelsberger, but if you do look at their frames, you look at the actual muscularity of Semelsberger is clearly there over Uros Medic. What I'll say is this. In the grappling, that could be a factor for sure with Semelsberger as the stronger guy. Because I do think there is a possibility of this fight hitting the ground. I would say that Semelsberger is going to be harder to deal with. As far as the striking, from distance, Medic is dangerous. Semelsberger will be pressuring. And I think the boxing advantage goes to Semelsberger. And I could see him hurting Medic with the hands, especially as we get into the second and third round. So give me Matthew Semelsberger to win. Now he's a bit of a favorite at -207 to Uros Medic at +177. I do like Semelsberger to win it. TKO is possible here for him, man. +105, though, is not a great tag for it. I think it deserves more. I think that's a weak tag. I think it's too low. Like, that should be +200 because Uros Medic is no bitch. Semelsberger by second round TKO, 550. Third round TKO, +1100. I'll tell you this. I'm picking Semelsberger to win. I'm picking him by TKO. But if there is a first round finish, I'd say I'd be leaning Medic to catch him with a body kick in the first round. So if it's going to the later stages, and I didn't bring myself to normal size, my apologies. If it's going to the later stages, we're going in the second and third, I guess not later, but, you know, past the first round, I think that's where Semelsberger is going to get on his game. I think early, Medic is dangerous, but after the first round, Semelsberger is going to be the real danger in the cage. So give me Semelsberger to win it. Next fight on the card, CJ Vergara versus Vinicius Salvador. Note this, Vinicius Salvador missed weight. He came in at 128.5. He's missed weight, I think, last fight too, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I know he looked bad on the scales last time. I'm picking CJ Vergara to win. I know he has a cardio advantage. Now you give it to him at elevation. Salvador really having a hard time on the scale. We'll pull up Salvador's picture and we'll analyze how he looks here. The pick is Vergara. I've been picking Vergara all week. I think that Salvador is overrated. He hits hard, but aside from the power, it's not great. I mean, you can see he's sucked in there. Okay, this is 128.5. And Salvador doesn't look good. Like, he looks fatigued. He looks drained. His eyes look sucked in. And that's being, 2.5 pounds over the 126 non-title flyweight limit. I think he's got to move up to 35. Then Vergara looking good as always. CJ Vergara is ready to go. I think Vergara's got him, guys. I think Vergara's got him. Salvador comes wide with his punches. He's going to come out like a bully. Vergara's no bitch. Vergara is a guy that can take big shots and come back from it. I think has the gas tank to go long. Won the last round against Ode Osborne to make it kind of a competitive fight, at least in moments. And I think that he is better than a Salvador. A Salvador is one of those heavy swinging guys. He's intimidating. He's going to bully guys up that lack, that next level skill set as far as like UFC caliber and consistency. Because CJ Vergara, man. I mean, look at the losses. Ode Osborne, Tatsuro Taira. I give no shame to either of those losses for CJ. I think CJ's winning this one. Now, he's a slight favorite at -161. I do think he's going to be able to win the second and third round with Salvador missing weight, though. And we look last time, Altamirano beat him by decision, and that was him not looking good either on the scale. I think Vergara by decision, official call, and I think it's a good prop. Plus 250 doesn't seem too shabby. Now, I would have loved to get it when it was higher up because we opened up at plus 275, but plus 250 is not awful. I think Vergara's going to win it on the cards. Vergara money line's not bad either, -160. Aside from, the puncher's chance that Salvador brings, the better technical striking is on Vergara's side. Yes, I know Salvador, he wings big punches and he looks to have power. But, dude, Vergara throws straight down the line. He's got a tighter style. He stays moving. He's got some wrestling. Give me Vergara for the win. I'm riding with him, dude. I think that he beats Salvador. He might finish him. So money line's your best option, but I do think you could sprinkle the side of him by decision. Now I'm curious what a KO for Vergara sits at. Plus 215. Yeah, decision's better. I like decision, man. I like decision. CJ Vergara to get it on the scorecards. Next fight is Jake Matthews versus Darrius Flowers. Listen, I'll tell you one scary note about Darrius Flowers for everybody that's probably, got Matthews in the parlays. He does work with Bilal, and they posted together on Instagram earlier today. And Bilal is a fucking dog. So training with him is, I think, a benefit and a solid intangible coming into this fight on short notice. Now, throughout the week, I have picked Jake Matthews, but I've acknowledged Darrius Flowers as a dangerous guy. Jake Matthews should win. He's 18-6. He's been in the UFC a long time. He looks to be more technical. But Flowers, good gas tank, if he does have one, I'm really saying at this point. Working with Bilal, I expect it, but short notice fight, right? Power in his hands, definitely. Wrestling base. He kind of could be a tricky style for Jake Matthews, who's a well-rounded mixed martial artist. I'm going to say Matthews has a very real chance to win this fight. Decision, but there's a chance that he could get a Flowers out of there in the second and third with him coming in on short notice. I'm going to pick Jake Matthews, but ultimately, we'll bring up the odds in just a second, actually. We'll bring up the odds in a second. It's just, Flowers looks intense, man. It's a mix of him being a very intimidating individual and the fact that he works with Bilal. And then there's Jake Matthews. He looks pretty normal. Flowers looking excited. Matthews looking cut. Honestly, in good shape, dude. Larger. I think the distance striking of Matthews is the difference maker, man. My official prediction throughout the week, I've been picking Matthews, and I'm thinking second or third round knockout. Now, Flowers, scary guy. Matthews, large favorite. Some things to bring up. Training with Bilal is just a scary X factor. Matthews -268 with Flowers at plus 228. Scrolling down here, Matthews by knockout, plus 230. That's not great. Matthews by decision, plus 325. The Matthews money line is ugly at -268. I'll bring it up in the parlay section as maybe something to consider, like with an alternate parlay. If you watch this week's Best MMA Bets, my betting breakdown from Wednesday, then you know what I'm kind of thinking with parlays. And I feel like Jake Matthews would be more so a parlay piece than a money line at -268. He really should beat Darrius Flowers. But, he's an intimidating motherfucker on the other side. And at -268, that money line is rather ugly. But we're picking Matthews by TKO. It's just Flowers. I'm throwing some red flags out there. If you have Matthews, in every one of your parlays, I suggest you have maybe a couple others where you leave Matthews out of it. Next fight on the card, we got Roman Kopylov versus Claudio Ribeiro. I've been picking Roman Kopylov to outstrike Ribeiro, and I think he's live for a stoppage. I'm thinking TKO. Ribeiro's a heavy-handed guy who's going to look to throw numerous power shots every round. That's going to really dwindle the gas tank down. And then note that we're at high elevation. Roman Kopylov is a more seasoned and poised kickboxer, and I think he's just technically better than Ribeiro. Ribeiro is a guy that hits heavy, and if he lands a perfect punch, he can lay out plenty of guys at 185. But Kopylov is calculated, precise, and works off of a nice jab, whereas Ribeiro has a more wide punching style of big power hooks. It is hard to catch a guy with wide shots when they come at you straight. Stay consistent with movement. Kopylov has quality kickboxing skills that I really think he's going to put on display here against Claudio Ribeiro. I'm going to pick Kopylov by TKO. I think he is going to stop Claudio in this fight. Now, when is the stoppage? I think we can get into the second or third. I do fear if you play over 1.5 because it's a good tag. We'll talk about that in a second. In case Claudio got caught earlier. Because I think he's losing, man. There's Claudio. There's Kopylov. I just think Kopylov's that dude. For this matchup here, I think he's going to shine. There's Ribeiro. Kopylov. And then there's a face-off. That's a big advantage in the striking, and I don't think Ribeiro has the grappling chops to take down and control a Roman Kopylov. I just don't see that. I see Kopylov touching him up from distance, outstriking him, clearly winning the fight, and I think he's going to pull off a stoppage. I think Kopylov is going to win here by TKO. Now, as far as the betting odds for this fight, and I'll bring myself back to full size, Kopylov is minus 209, so again, a rather wide 2-to-1 favorite type fight where the underdog looks appealing. Of course it looks appealing, but I think the favorite wins this one. Plus 179 for Ribeiro on the dog side. Kopylov to win by TKO plus 105. I think that happens here. Kopylov by TKO in the second round. Plus 450. Third round plus 600. But over 1.5. Now minus 150. Not as good as it was previously. It was at minus 165 down to minus 130. I think I got it back up at minus 150. Still a potential parlay piece. I could see Kopylov stopping him late in the second and into the third. More likely it's going longer here. I know Ribeiro's a heavy-handed dude looking to throw bombs, and he's got power, but I think it's going to be a lot harder to catch Kopylov with that wide shit when Kopylov is going straight. At the end of the day, the straight shot gets to the target rather faster than a powerful hook would. So we're going Kopylov. I think he is the more technical guy, and I will pick him to win the fight here. We're going to actually jump this one because there's been a scramble of matchups here. Next fight on the card we got is Trevin Giles versus Gabriel Bonfim. Listen, I think Bonfim wins this thing. I feel like he's pulling it off. I think he can outstrike Trevin Giles. I think he can make Trevin Giles panic shoot, go to the floor with him, and get himself caught in some shit because Bonfim has a very competent, I would say more than just competent, I would say a very quality ground game, submission-wise. Trevin Giles is very hard to submit. The way Trevin Giles gets submitted in this fight, though, is if he is hurt on the feet, something I think Bonfim's technical kickboxing capabilities will allow him to do. I think he's going to be able to sting up a Trevin Giles, force some panic shots, and then potentially finish by Bonfim via submission. So I'm riding the Bonfim side on the prelims to get the win. Let me shrink myself down and look at these guys on the scales. We got to scroll through because we got a different bout order. We got Trevin Giles with the abs. We got Bonfim with the abs too. Both guys on point, in shape, and ready to rock. There is Trevin Giles. He looks good. He looks ready to go. There's Gabriel Bonfim, and then there's a face-off for you guys. You know, similar frames and stature for both guys. This is a big test for Bonfim against a super experienced Trevin Giles, but I think this is a very winnable matchup for Bonfim as well. So I'm riding with Bonfim for the win over Trevin Giles. Now he is a little bit of an ugly, wide favorite at minus 330. Bonfim. Plus 270. Giles. He shouldn't be minus 330 to plus 270. But Bonfim should win the fight. Bonfim for the win by submission is plus 150. I am calling a sub. I wouldn't play the under 1.5. I could see it going over too. It's a coin flip on the over-under, which is why the odds are so close. But I do think Bonfim's winning the fight. Now, looking through the prelims, it seems like I got a lot of favorite prediction winners, and so much so that now the Derrick Lewis fight moved up to the featured bout of the night. Is it going to be a favorite sweep on the prelims here? We'll see. We shall find out, because I ended up dropping some fucking favorites. But hey, I got dogs coming on the main card. Let's jump to it in a second. It's Bonfim for the win here. He's going to get it done over Trevin Giles, and I do think he's a swell prospect. Next fight brings us to our main card opener. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. It's about time we got an underdog. And I'm going with Michael Chiesa on this fight here to beat Kevin Holland in the grappling department, something I think he is clearly capable of doing. Now, on the other side, Kevin Holland will have a boxing, striking, power, athleticism advantage. Yeah, all four of them. Michael Chiesa is not a chinny dude. He's never been knocked out as a pro. He has one doctor's stoppage, cuts, TKO loss to Joe Lozon very long ago. Kevin Holland and him here, you're probably thinking, oh, well, Kevin Holland's coming down from 85. He's dealt with bigger guys. Hold on a second. Let's bring up the weigh-ins and check this out, okay? Let's bring it up. There is Kevin Holland, rather slim as always. Looks like Kevin Holland. There is Chiesa. Looks pretty large, honestly, man. He's slim too, but he's a big guy. He's tall. You're going to see when they face off what I'm saying. Look at this face-off. There's Holland there shaking hands with Joe. There's him on the scale. Let me just get to the damn face-off. There's Chiesa. It looks solid, man. There's the face-off. It's not much of a size difference in Chiesa. He's got the bigger back of the two. In the grappling, I promise you, your back muscularity and size is not purely about the muscle, like the bodybuilding look, but something I take when I see a guy like Chiesa, who I know is good on the ground. He's definitely got a thicker and wider back than his opponent. That means in the grappling department, grappling is a pull-based art, right? A lot of pull strength is going to lead to your success. That is going to favor Michael Chiesa. I promise you he's going to land takedowns here. Now, is he going to sustain control? Is he going to get the finish? I do believe so. I am picking Michael Chiesa. Now, I have been leaning Chiesa to win it on the judges' scorecards. Just the overall respect I have for, how Kevin Holland has been historically hard to finish. But lesser guys, I believe Alex Oliveira had the back of Kevin Holland. If Michael Chiesa's on your back, very well could be over. Very well could be over. Chiesa's going to win this fight here. It's more about how is he getting it done. Plus 130. So the money line is the A side if you're betting. You already got plus. You're going to make more than you're putting down, which I like a lot if you're playing a dog. Plus 130. Kevin Holland, minus 150. Okay? All right. I like a lot if you're playing a dog. What I meant there is if you're playing a dog, you're going to get that, which is something I like a lot. I feel like plus 130, very fair tag for this fight. Chiesa to win by TKO, plus 1,500. Now, I would say Chiesa by TKO is on the rather lower side of outcomes. But if he got on top of Kevin Holland and was throwing crazy ground and pound, it's not impossible. Plus 1,500, obviously very, very wide. Chiesa wins by decision is plus 275. Chiesa by submission is plus 400. I picked Chiesa by decision all week, but I think he is quite live for a submission off of Kevin Holland if he's able to get to his back. Now, money line is the A side. Money line, official pick. Chiesa, money line, that's the side. But submission at plus 400 is possible. I do feel Chiesa by decision is going to stay as my official method of victory call, but looking for a prop with a little juice on it, I think plus 400 win by sub is rather fair for Chiesa. Pretty crazy to see, though, plus 1,500 for a knockout. He's probably not knocking Kevin Holland out or ground and pounding him. Chiesa, though, for the win, he out-grapples Kevin Holland, and he comes through as the first dog. Next fight on the card, it's Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. Cannot wait to see T-Ferg back. Unfortunately, I'm picking against him. I think Bobby Green is going to touch him up in the stand-up, man. I think his boxing is going to be better, and he'll fight off Tony's takedown attempts. I just don't think Tony Ferguson's the same anymore. Now, we will pull up the scales and check these guys out. we'll pull up our guy, Bobby Green. Shredded, ready to rock. The usual Bobby Green. T-Ferg, honestly, looks like himself, but like I just feel like he's lost some muscle mass, dude. A lot of wear and tear in this game. A lot of wear and tear in this game. Let's scroll down to it. There's Bobby Green. He was confident at the face-offs. There's Tony Ferguson. He's got some grays now. He looks like, you know, an older T-Ferg. Dude, I think Bobby Green's going to touch him up. This matchup here, for me, just really favors Bobby Green in the stand-up department. I just don't think Tony's the same anymore. So I'm picking Bobby Green as the winner. Now, as far as the odds for the fight, yeah, they don't get me excited. 4-1 favorite Bobby Green to Tony Ferguson as a plus 300 underdog. It sucks to see T. Ferg as such a wide dog because it just makes you feel like, damn, it really is over. Could he somehow pull off a submission? It's always possible with that crazy motherfucker. T. Ferg by sub is plus 1,000, which I just think is like, I don't know, kind of disrespectful. T. Ferg by sub plus 1,000? What? Him and Green is not far off by win by sub. There's definitely a better jiu-jitsu game with T. Ferg. So, I don't know. Out of disrespect, maybe you threw $5 at plus 1,000 for, Ferguson to win by sub. But realistically, Bobby Green by decision, I think T. Ferg's durability will be there. And the KO is plus 150. Green by decision, plus 135. The prop-sided part of this fight for Bobby Green kind of sucks. Where you'd get big plus is if a big upset happened and T. Ferg won by submission, which is plus 1,000. Now, if you're betting T. Ferg as a dog, you're a big T. Ferg guy, plus 300. I get it. I get it. And I've had people in my comments this week talk about the betting T. Ferg. And good luck to you guys. But I really think Bobby Green is going to beat him. I think Bobby Green's going to win the majority of the fight and get it on the judges' scorecards. If T. Ferg was to win, it's probably locking up a sub. So if you want to sprinkle a little on T. Ferg by sub at plus 1,000, you're not any bit crazy. And I totally get it. But yeah, Bobby Green to win the fight. Next fight is our new featured bout of the night. Sadly, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Michel Pereira is off the card because Pereira came in very heavy. He was 174. Wonderboy said no. Just, citing something that I think is a big factor is Pereira's 29, okay? Wonderboy's 40. Now I got to fight a guy who's already younger. He's got the youth advantage, the explosiveness advantage. It's a dangerous matchup. Now he's got the weight advantage too. I understand why Wonderboy said no. So probably not a rebooking there, but damn, that would have been a hell of a fight. I think that we really missed out on a pretty epic clash of strikers. The new featured bout of the night, Derrick Lewis versus Marcos Rogério de Lima, and I am picking Derrick Lewis as an underdog, and he has shown up to this fight in the best shape I have ever seen him. Guys, he's going to fuck de Lima up. He's going to drop hammers on him here. I think that Derrick Lewis is coming out looking better than he has in a long while. We'll pull up the official scales for Derrick Lewis, so I got to scroll in the other direction for a moment. Look at this guy. Look at Derrick Lewis. Slender Derrick Lewis with a little bit of a 4-pack. He put in a lot of work to get lean for this fight. And then we got Marcos Rogério de Lima, who's thick. Real thick. He's a thick dude. I think Derrick Lewis's hands are going to be faster and his gas tank's going to be better, which is something he needs in this matchup here. There is de Lima. Looks like his normal self. He's a thick dude. He's always thick. Then you got lean D. Lou with the abs popping through. Oh, shit. He looks confident, man. There's the face-off. You can see Derrick Lewis with, the slight height advantage. Looks, listed as 2 inches, right? 6'3", Derrick Lewis to 6'1", De Lima. Looks like 6'4" to 6'1.5" an inch, maybe. Derrick Lewis should beat him, guys. Oh, I got to straighten this out. Now we're all off-centered. I think Derrick Lewis has it. D. Lou for the W. Knockout. I'm calling a knockout win for Derrick Lewis. I think he bounces back from the, past 3 losses that have been against nothing but the highest level of competition for the heavyweight division. De Lima is not such a thing there. So, yeah, give me knockout Derrick Lewis, underdog, plus 185. They don't respect him. He opened up as minus 115 near even money. He's a big dog now. They say it's over for Derrick Lewis. I totally disagree. De Lima's a minus 220 favorite, which he shouldn't be. Knockout win for Derrick Lewis in this fight sits at plus 215. Give me Derrick Lewis for the win. I do think knockout plus 185 is their money line. Just in case somehow Derrick Lewis won a dominant decision, you're not kicking yourself. Plus 185 is almost as good as plus 215 just for the straight money line attack. Derrick Lewis for the W. I'm picking him, bouncing back with a KO win. He's taking De Lima out, and he's putting him unconscious here, which is going to be pretty fucking epic. Let's go. Derrick Lewis for the win. Next fight on the card is the co-main event. It's Jan Błachowicz versus Alex Pereira. The underdog lock this week has been Pereira. I've locked him up. I think Pereira is going to win this fight by knockout. And I was very excited to see him at 205 and a half, actually. And it did not disappoint. Let's check these two out. Let's look at the scales here between these two. We got to scroll down a bit now. There's Pereira missing weight. Not Poatan, the other Pereira. There's Wonderboy on weight. There is Alex Pereira, thick now. Thick Pereira's head looks larger. Doesn't need to be as lean. He's going to be more powerful. There's Jan Błachowicz. And let's look at the face-off. Poatan looking badass, you know, with the tribal clothing on. On the other side, Jan, former champion, victim of, the coach of Alex Pereira, Glover Teixeira. And look at this. Look at the size difference between these two. This is man versus something non-human. I don't think Jan is going to be able to control Pereira on the ground. I just don't believe it. Alex Pereira is going to chin Jan. It's going to be a brutal left hook knockout. And everybody doesn't say, wow, Pereira is way scarier at 205. I promise you he's improved his skill set. But not only that, he's just going to be way better without such a significant weight cut. Gas tank, punch resistance, grappling strength, and punching power, which is a nightmare for the dangerous Jan Błachowicz and former champion on the other side. Battle of former champs. One, the former middleweight champ, and then Jan, obviously the former light heavyweight champ. I'm riding with Poatan to get the win over Jan Błachowicz this week. Minus 106 for Poatan. He's a very slight dog now. Minus 114 for Błachowicz. Poatan by KO is my official call prediction-wise. Plus 145. Yeah, I think he's chinning him bad, guys. Under 2.5, minus 179. I do think it goes under. I'm confident in Poatan. He looked damn good, and I'm ready to see him perform to the best of his capabilities. Now going up a weight class, taking on the 40-year-old Błachowicz, former champ. He's laying him clean. Knockout, Alex Pereira. Main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. It's Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje. I've been picking Dustin Poirier to win throughout the week. I think that his boxing is going to be the ultimate difference maker from the closer range here. Now, let's check these guys out on the scales. Let's see how they looked. How in shape are they? Obviously, you're expecting two guys fighting for the BMF belt, 5-round battle to come ready to rock. There's Gaethje. Looks solid at weigh-ins. Look like Gaethje does. Poirier with the abs. He looks slender, man. Poirier looks in good shape. And then you look at the ceremonials. Definitely confidence by Gaethje. Both these guys know what they're in for. It's going to be a damn war. But I just see something in the eyes of Poirier that Gaethje is lacking here. I think Poirier's got him. Even in the face-off, I sense something. He's got him. Poirier's got him, guys. Poirier's going to knock him out. It's going to be a brutal fight up until it's over. And I think Poirier wins in another all-time classic. I'm thinking third-round knockout this time. Dustin Poirier's minus 144. Gaethje plus 124. Let's see. Fight being under 4.5 rounds at minus 220. That's wild. It seems like a mismark. Yeah, I think it's going under 4.5. Under 2.5 is plus 110. Fairly live, but it could be a later third-round knockout. Dustin Poirier to win by KO plus 175. Gaethje by KO plus 265. I think Poirier is going to end up getting a knockout in a pretty back-and-forth war. Let's see. Poirier by second round KO is plus 800. Third round KO at plus 1,000. I'm going to say third round knockout, official call, but I think it's live throughout, second, third, fourth round too, realistically, or I mean, even the fifth. I just think earlier in the fight, it would be harder for me to see Poirier just stun him with one shot at getting him out, but it could happen. Dustin Poirier to win. Official prediction for the main event. I think he is going to knock out Justin Gaethje again and become the BMF champ, which is pretty freaking badass. So let's get it. It's going to be a sick fight card, but we're not done here just yet. I do want to talk about a little bit of parlays to play. Let's look at some parlays, post weigh-in parlays. All right, what can I put together here? Let's see. Well, I think Derrick Lewis being a live dog, and so is Michael Chiesa, plus 540 for this two-main card, dog attack. Looking at fighters on the prelims, I think Kopylov does pull it off. I also do got to say, I like at the price tag and likelihood a Vergara win. So Vergara Kopylov is interesting at plus 150. Now, if you don't like CJ Vergara, maybe you want to go prelims and you go Semelsberger, you're still getting in the plus money range. I know Miranda Maverick has, gave us some L's in the past, but she should get it done. Let's see. Kopylov Maverick. And let's ride with nobody else for now. Okay, and then let's go towards somebody on the main card. Let's say we go Derrick Lewis, plus 486. And let's say we had Chiesa as well. And we had Pereira. Now we're going nuts. Plus 2,486. That's degenerate territory, but I do think it's possible. Now, on this week's Best MMA Bets, if you guys haven't seen it, I drop it every Wednesday. Definitely start tuning into that series. I go deep with parlays. And the ones that I wrote out, I did like a safety parlay. I think safety, but at the end of the day, it's the fucking fight game, right? Fairly safe parlay with like a Bobby Green and a T Ferg, or rather Bobby Green and T Ferg. Bobby Green and Semelsberger minus 111. Bobby Green and Bonfim. It's going to be a similar tag to that, like around minus 160-ish. Let's see. Gabriel, Bonfim. That's scary though, because you're riding with these prelim fighters. There's more consistency with guys with a fuckload of fights in the UFC, of course. I'm kind of liking Kopylov on my slate. Kopylov Pereira seems like a sneaky play, plus 194, and put D. Lou in the mix, plus 739. I think these hitters are coming, and maybe I'm sick for wanting to put Maverick in and give me plus 1,000. Then you add in Vergara too, plus 1815. I'll say this, like at the weigh-ins, how I look at it is I like to see the frames. I like to see the, body language. I think Vergara's got a real good shot to beat a drained-out Salvador. I think Semelsberger should beat Medic, but I will say Medic looked better than I anticipated at the weigh-ins. Did it drop the confidence? Maybe like a tad, but not enough so that I'm saying, no, it's not going to happen. I think Semelsberger is going to beat him. Maverick, I feel a little higher on after the weigh-ins. I don't know. I just think she looked pretty good. Looking at like Poirier to beat Gaethje, I feel more confident in Poirier now than I did beforehand. I feel more confident on Pereira, which is scary because I was already confident. With Bobby Green and T Ferg, I just think Bobby Green's going to get up past this prime T Ferg. Holland with Chiesa, dude, I feel good about Chiesa winning. I definitely, though, feel inside a little better about D. Lou beating Rogério de Lima, but I think both of these could happen, man. Bonfim to beat Giles, I think he does beat him, but I will say facing off, Giles, he looks game as fuck. Ribeiro Kopylov, I'm loving the look of Kopylov. Flowers, Matthews, I like the height of Matthews, but staying off of it, I feel slightly concerned about Jake Matthews. So right here from that conversation, we got Poirier, Pereira, Kopylov, Chiesa, Lewis for plus 3,045. Now, you could maybe add in, an over 1.5 in the Kopylov fight, right? I talked about it, but I'm a little concerned. I think Kopylov could catch him earlier if Ribeiro's reckless. So just a, mild red-ish flag worth noting, man. I like this one, just straight fighter attacks. Then if you want to be sick, add in Vergara, add in Maverick, plus 7,000. Then we just go nuts, plus 10,000 for this one. Holy shit. But yeah, you're probably better off not having 10 fighters in a damn parlay. But it definitely is possible. I like this one a lot here, though. Guys with some UFC experience And I think matchup-specific fights that I like for them. Now, I think a lot of you are going to want to take Chiesa out. I just know this one's still pretty game right there. I really feel like Derrick Lewis has got him. I'll just remove all the dogs. See, now you only got plus 390 from like plus 1,000 something to now just plus 390. But hey, it's about hitting. Be cautious with your parlays. 2 or 3 fighters for your most likelihood of success. But at the end of the day, ride with what your confidence tells you. Even though we look at the scales and maybe some confidence sways one way or the other. Obviously, there's tape study done involved in giving my predictions on the Sunday show. So, you know, pre-tape to then actual tape and then to when you see them face off. Sometimes things can shift in your head, but the tape usually don't lie, man. Even though fighters look good on the scale. So if you're picking somebody and they look damn good, I get like a little more confidence with it. Now, if you pick somebody like you had, let's say you had Salvador and you looked horrible, you missed weight, I can totally see you pick flipping to the other side of Vergara, potentially getting a TKO on him. That would actually be pretty sick. But at the end of the day, I do think Salvador's durability will still be there because Vergara is not a super heavy-handed guy. But hey, you guys know what the picks are. You guys know what you got to do. Smash the likes here and let me know in the comments what you think of the picks. Drop your favorite picks. Much love. I appreciate everybody watching the weigh-in recap show. Plenty of content on the channel, so make sure to be subscribed. And if you don't have the post notifications on, don't keep them on personalized. Put them to all so you don't miss a video as I'm dropping content every single day of the week. If you got nothing to say in my comments, but you just want to support me, drop a W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. I will see you all tomorrow for the full UFC 291 fight companion. Much love, my people. Peace.